Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad, Supercoach Pro. Today we're doing an update on the team picker. Now, before I get stuck in the side, you can see that English and BONT have been removed from my side, and here are the reasons why. So just jump straight into it. If you don't already know, English has been kept out of contact drills, and apparently it's a bit of a mystery. So I don't know if that's to do with his concussion issues he's had, but I just feel like I'm going to fade him now. And the other news here, third article down, if you type in Rory Ogden news, is he is set to play more ruck time for the Dogs. So that's a big red flag for me. So those two indications, I'm out. This time of year, I'll actually just Google players like that. So if I'm interested in a player like Took Miller, I'll then Google them and then just go news. And normally it comes up with all these articles. It could be injury related or not. So this is some of the information I get. It's just basic things like that. This is also DFS, helps me look at kick-ins and heat maps and stuff like that for some player updates in my side. Now, the one other thing I want to get into as a Tiger supporter, mate, is Tom Lynch's foot. So this is the issue for a key forward. Progress is pretty well, slow build, blah, 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 blah. And they reckon they will have him round one, but I'm not very confident with the things I've seen him. All I've seen him do is literally run track, and we're about 2 months out, and I just don't trust it as a pick for Supercoach. Key forward, he could sub 60, half a dozen games in a row before he actually starts to fire. So for me, I reckon you should almost get him cheaper if he doesn't fire pretty quickly, and you really reckon Richmond are going to finish bottom eight. Gibcus, 90% of drills, so that's a green flag. Tick him off your list to put him in. He's obviously going to be best 22 for Richmond. So there's no question about that. When they say 90% and he's got, probably playing those practice games, I feel that's fine for a key defender. It's not like he's a midfielder trying to build a lot of fitness. He's pretty athletic anyway for a key defender, in my opinion. Bolton, this is the other one, people are trying to pick. I'm not sure I'd pick him in the Supercoach relevant side. He's been playing forward in the drills from what I've seen in match sim. So for me, it's a no. If anyone, it's actually Martin has been playing through midfield from what I can see in our footage. So just want to knock those ones off the head. Being a Tiger supporter, I thought I could give a little bit more insight, even though you can read these articles yourself. And Jack Ross is probably not even relevant unless you're looking at a draft sort of system. And BONT, yeah, I can't do it. Yeah, a month off training, top pick builds case. So this is a big red flag for me as well. Not expected to go to full training until after the Christmas break, and that's ankle surgery. So how good will his fitness be? We know he's a professional athlete. They've got the best physios, blah blah blah, but they've got other midfielders they can put inside. So for me, that screams Jack McRae, and that's what I've been hearing on forums. Is Jack McRae has been doing CBA sort of midfield work again. So with a not fully fit BONT, I feel like McRae will actually be a really good pick forward, and even a VC early on, in my opinion. I know he had an off year last year, but I think with the ACL of Bailey Smith going down too, I just think he is probably a must pick in our forward lines. Back on track, they're talking about some of these players like Taylor Adams as well. Now he's a guy that I wouldn't mind in the forward line, but he's too injury prone. Like how many of these guys can you start? And for 437k, is he going to be a keeper once DPP is kicking into play in round 6, 12, and 18? So I'm not really sure about those sort of guys. Do I want to be picking them? I'm probably only going to pick two primos in the forward line. The rest sort themselves. Now, the forgotten men, some of these articles are really good just for looking at Supercoach relevant players, and if you think they are. Obviously, Williams is one. I don't know anything about this guy, so maybe I'll have a look at his Supercoach price, but these are great sort of, what do you call it, articles that will, tell you, oh, I haven't thought about this guy. Can I put him in my Supercoach side? But you want guys like this that haven't played. So he's a 123k rookie. Zach Reid, will he get a game? But we know he doesn't have a lot of off-field recruits in the off-season. Sorry, he's 21, so see how he goes. At 202 centimeters, so you're probably not going to expect him to field him or Gibcus. Chapman's the one I like, to be honest. He's going to be best 22. yes, he'll play wing, but it means he'll probably get a bit of midfield minutes slash take kick-ins and play halfback role. I don't think it's necessarily a bad role. And for 250K, I don't understand what the fuss is about, people not being too hot on him. I don't mind if he's a pod rookie down back, because I'll probably start him. They have the good buys as well, so it means I can get the cash out of him and flick him by round 10 if I can. I'll probably hold on to him because I think he's going to be a decent scorer. Guthrie, I've talked about him in one of the potties with Steve. I think he's not a bad selection. It just really depends. If you got that awkward money sitting there, then you'd probably use it. Miller is the guy that I'm talking about in my side. I think there's no doubt that he's probably a start. I think he's probably 100 grand cheaper to what he's going to finish off in the season. Big call, but I think it's easily done. And none of these other players I don't think are too relevant Supercoach wise. That could be a bit of a smoky if you wanted a 300K play in the mids. Wouldn't want a key forward again. And Tom Lynch, no. This one's a good one too. We've seen what he can do. Have a look at Footy Wine. His scoring has been pretty good. He might be a rookie that we actually end up starting as well, Jack Hayes. So AFL articles are great for this kind of thing. I love things as simple as typing in a player's name, like I said, and just clicking news. And then Sam Darcy's the other guy. So it's all the rookies I do already have. And it's articles like these where you go, oh, well, I can do my own research. I don't have to listen to some bloke that, thinks he knows all. Where's the actual proof in the pudding? What's he reading? Well, this is exactly what I'm showing you. So back to the team picker, I guess. But before I go on to that, I really want to emphasize something here. Now, you're going to get a lot of theories on different players and whatnot. But so last year, I had a really bad finish to the season. You can see there 6,473. Now, I won't go to filter. Sorry. If you look at my round one score, I had Rory Laird as captain. A lot of things went wrong the first 6 rounds for me. Injuries, I had Clary as well, so that didn't help my score. Held him on for like 10 weeks or whatever. So this was the Rory Laird effect of my captaincy. I started round one, 100,000 in overall. So to make a comeback, I had to actually burn through some trades early on. Didn't have many left over, but I had to trade well. And that was from watching, probably I'd say 7 or 8 games per week. I'd only miss maybe 1 or 2. And that was annoying because I had to put a lot of time and effort into trying to get my side back up to get a respectable ranking from where I came from. So to do what I did was okay, but the year before that, I finished 1,200, and that was from having a good starting side. Even 1 week, I even got into I don't know if I got in the top 10, but it was crazy what the weekly rankings were. I have to remember how to go back to this and actually look at my previous seasons at some point. I haven't really fiddled with it, to be honest, since last year. So this is the side going into the picker. It'll probably change, I'd say, after the practice games have come through, because there's not a lot of news. So I haven't been giving you guys any update because I haven't heard anything. The players have only just come back this week, really, or the week before that. So Sicily for me in the back line to replace sort of Dacos, pick that most people would have. The early buy for Dacos and whatnot is a little bit annoying for me. I feel like his fixture at the start's a bit of a tough run too. So I might hope that I'll play against him. I don't want to really anti-pod him, but if he's got it, above 60% by the time round one starts, I'll probably put him in just out of fear. FOMO, fear of missing out, I guess. Cheezel, I call him Cheezel. Cheezel, sorry. Has been playing mid and forward, so it'd be handy if you got forward DPP. So I'm sort of putting him in there and hope that he might get one or the other, and he'll be a relevant player to swing between a couple lines. And I think he'll finish to that top 8 range in the defense anyway, or thereabouts. Had a better first year than Dacos, in my opinion. And then Young, he's going to go into midfield. I think he'll be a good pick. Average 106 in the back end of the game when he was playing mid. So that's also one for me. I really like DPP things, and it doesn't make sense sometimes, but that will be a difference for me. If I'm torn between 2 players and one of them is viable of getting a DPP that I think, I normally swing that way. because they do become pretty handy late in the season. Chapman, a rookie that not a lot of people are starting, I can see, but that's fine. It's been in the system a few years now. You can read the article as well. Now, the wing role isn't as bad as what people say. Look at McCluggage, for example. Not saying he's going to be any sort of McCluggage, but I think he'll be a decent shout anyway. Zach Williams, everyone's going to start him. Fading Masudi gets injured. Hoffield, Gibcus, and Hoare are my rookies. I'll probably rotate between the three of them depending who plays which side, I suppose. The weaker teams, I'll field the stronger rookie. And then midfield consists of Butters, LDU, and Sarong. Butters has a good fixture early up. LDU could be anything, could even be a Brownlow player. One this year, he's got that capability. He's got inside and outside game. Sarong probably gets the most CBAs out of those three midfielders. Walsh for me and Miller are just pure value picks for the midfield. I feel Walsh can always put 5-10 points on his average that he did last year. And Miller, he's very capable of that. I feel like Dimmer will definitely play in midfield, not a half forward, not a tagger, but he'll play him in the guts with Anderson and Rao. Amon for me is a little bit left field. A few people have been talking about him, so I did my own research and found out, well, he did play some games in the back line, did take some kickouts and whatnot, and it didn't affect Sis. So he's a player that I'm hoping gets moved back in the back line at some point. And then the rookies are pretty standard, apart from the Richmond biased ones that I think might get games early on. Grundy and Gawn, pretty self-explanatory. Most people go on that route for value purposes. Probably don't want to go Marshall early on, even though it is tempting. But I don't see any of the other guys around Grundy's price tempting at all, unless I was going for where's that Port Adelaide player that went? He's from Richmond. Soldo. Soldo's probably a guy that can do Grundy things and has the better buy, but I feel like Grundy could make you the cash quicker for me. Naismith, I think, gets early games. He's probably competing against Samson Ryan for that spot, and that's really about it since Soldo's gone. I don't see any other Richmond rookie getting a game before Naismith or Samson Ryan. The third behind that would be probably Miller. McRae, Flanders. McRae's playing midfield minutes, apparently. He's been doing midfield drills while Bont's been out. Flanders, I feel like he will start his season like he finished the end of last season, which was pretty hot. Reid, you think, gets up from those little niggles he's had with his hammy and whatnot. McRae's fighting for a spot. I think he's only got like a 1-year deal, so it's make it or break it for him. Wilson is a top draft pick from last year. This guy's 26, so it says Geelong's going for one more crack, so he will surely be a starter if they've gone for him. And Bauer, I think, will take Lynch's spot for the first few weeks before Lynch comes back. And Darcy has been in the system a few years, so I think he will get gigs early on. So that is the side so far. It changes daily at the moment. It probably won't change until I read more pre-season updates. And that is pretty much it for the video. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next.